Wish a Christian. I wanted to give you guys an update on what's going on with Zion Oil. I haven't given an update for a while, but I just want to run through a list of things that have taken place and that have occurred. Now, I believe that Zion Oil is one of those oil stocks that will go up in value tremendously. I do believe that it's also a short term and long term hold. I have bought enough to where when that announcement does come, that I'll be able to sell some, but most of everything that I have, I will be able to hold on to because it's for me, it's a long-term hold. For a lot of you, it might be just a short-term hold, but for me, it's both. So I'm making sure that for myself, I am purchasing as much as I can over time because I truly believe that this is one of those stocks that is going to take off. I'm going to tell you some of the reasons why. Now, I'm going to take you through first back in, I believe it was January 2019, Zion Oil got their letter of delisting. 6 months later, they got an 6 months later, they did get an extension, which took them to around December the 12th. I know a lot of people were waiting to see what was going to take place. They had done their 3D seismic mapping, but then we didn't hear anything for almost a month. And during that time period, they had to go before the SEC board and explain why they would be able to satisfy the dollar bid amount. And we didn't hear anything. And so a lot of things were up in limbo. And so now going to Zion Oil has received a listing until June 26th of 2020. So whatever they said that was before the SEC board convinced them enough to give them another extension until June 26th. Now, when it comes to this, folks, just from my experience, when I see the first delisting of a lot of companies, when they get that notification, or they have to do a reverse stock split, most of the time, I usually see them do it on the first time. And then you have more companies, they get the extension, and if they don't get that extension by that next time, they usually go ahead and do a reverse split. Now and if you still want an extension, you have to go before a board, and you have to explain why you would be able to get you would be able to cure that price and get it to above $1 a share. So that's exactly what they did. And so what has happened in the meantime? So we know that they did 3D seismic testing. Okay, so we know back last year they did the 3D seismic testing. It was one of the biggest ones ever done. I think it's the only one that's ever done in Israel. They have all the results from that's been done. Now, as far as interpretation and combining it with all the other information they have to combine together, from what I've listened to from the podcast and reading the information about Zion Oil, so it looks like that they know where they need to go. And so then there was another press release that dealt with Zion Oil and Gas purchasing a drilling rig. Now, they have done that. And I listened to the podcast, and it says that they should be getting it by the end of April. All right, now keep in mind the June 26th date. So when I listened to the podcast, it said it's going to take 10 to 14 days to get the rig set up, and then another 5 days of testing. So basically at a max 19, 20 days, it's going to take them to get the rig up and to test it and to get things going. So if they get it by April 30th, then, by May 20th, they should have everything up and ready to go. Everything's been tested. So them purchasing their own drilling rig is a pretty big deal. And I think it just shows the commitment of the company. After listening to the podcast, basically what they're saying is that before they release any public information, they have to know 100%. So right now, even if they did see, oh, well, there's oil here and there's oil here, they're not going to make that announcement until they've actually drilled and found oil and then did their testing and did whatever else that has to come to this to be able to make sure that whatever information they release to the public, that it's that they know 100%. So even though they did get the extension, I did look up. I didn't see any other information as far as they could be granted any more extensions after this. Who knows? with everything that's going on with the virus, that they may give companies automatic extensions. The focus date is June 26, 2020. Okay, and it says here, in order for Zion to comply with the requirement by NASDAQ, Zion must have a closing bid price of at least $1 per share for a minimum of 10 consecutive business days on or before June 26, 2020. So, really, I expect, in my opinion, of course I could be wrong, I would expect some type of announcement at least 15 days before June 26th. Anywhere from, see, 12 to 15 days before June 26th. I don't know all the mechanics, or I don't know all the specifics of how to make their announcement to make sure that their bid price does stay over $1. But obviously, they have been able to convince the SEC that they can do it. So if this is their third extension and they had to go before a board and present their information and what their plan is, probably with the whole drilling rig and everything, that they were able to receive their extension. So today's April the 21st. You have all of May, and then you have all of June. So you're actually looking at it about 65 days before June 26th. Like I said, I do expect some type of announcement before then if they are able to. So there is a stockholders meeting on June the 10th, but I'm not sure if there's going to be any more information, if any type of announcement will be done on that particular day or before then. But just looking at the timeline, the end of April, they should have their drilling rig. Don't know what the specific date of that is. I'm sure it will be announced. And then from there, they will have to set it up, which is going to take an additional up to 20 days to get the rig set up and to do all their testing and everything else. Right, so that would put you about May 20th. Right, so about 36 days before the cure date. All right, so this is a statement on Yahoo Finance forum. And this guy here, it kind of sums up everything. It says, NASDAQ extension goes to June 26th. The 3D resolution expected by late April or May. Although I think they already know the picture, obviously enough to commit to buying a rig. Do you see the plan in play here? Stock price jumps with the 3D resolution news release, and the NASDAQ listing is no longer in jeopardy, which is why they were approved for the extension, followed by the rig arriving on site, then setup and certification start drilling, each step pushing the stock price forward. Folks, I strongly suggest that you have 3 or 4 weeks left to jump in low on Zion Oil, and even then, I suspect a creep forward from here on. Each day you wait will cost you more. I'm as long as I can be right now, and wishing I could get even more. God bless Zion Oil for having the vision to make Israel greater. So that, folks, that's basically the same type of thinking that I have about this whole situation. So he's in it for the long term. I'm in it for the long term. Most of my stocks will be in it for the long term. So there is a real opportunity for here that's going to come, and you may not be able to get in where it's at now. Now, it's not to say that if you go in and you purchase Zion Oil, so let's say at 19 cents, you cannot get all upset and be mad if it drops down to 16 cents. So you're in it for the long term. Some stocks that you invest in, you know that when you purchase it, there's a possibility that it's going to go down before it shoots back up from where you purchased at. And that's why when you're in the stock game, whatever price you purchase it, you have to be comfortable that for a short period of time that it may actually drop below from what you purchased it from. So in my opinion, they know they have it. They just have to drill it, and all that information eventually will be released. And every step, like I said, could be to the point to where it does go up in value. It does go up because there are major players in Zion Oil. I showed you guys that in my last video. There are some big companies that are involved in Zion Oil. So I just wanted to give you guys an update. If you guys haven't bought Zion Oil, you can pick and choose one of the links below for Robinhood. It's the easiest. There also, you can do Webull too as well. The link is down there below. Get your free stock, and when you were able to sell it after 3 days, you could turn around and buy Zion Oil. That's what I did a lot with a lot of my referral stocks. But you could just pick one down below. Just pick any of the one. There's at least like 8 or 10 people who support Twisted Christian, and those are their links there. So if you haven't purchased, just pick one and then sign up for and go through the whole process of signing up for Robinhood or Webull. I think Robinhood it's an easier interface than a lot of the other trading apps on the phone. So we just pray for Zion Oil, and that they continue to do what they're doing to make the company successful, and so that the country of Israel is blessed, as well as the people who invested into Zion Oil. And with that being said, Twisted Christian out.